the situation. Remember, if you listen to what we are saying and you do what we are saying, you stand a chance of winning 3,000 shillings just because of doing what you're saying. And what are we saying? We're saying? Mm-hmm. Okay, first of all, we are saying, take your Safaricom line, dial *544#. It brings up a suite of options. Pick the one that says go monthly. When you go monthly, pick any of the packages called the one all-in-one package. 2,000 bob, 3,000, 5,000, whichever, okay? If you do that, and then you subscribe to the all-in-one package, and you take a screenshot, send that screenshot to our inbox at SpiceFMKE on X. By the end of this show, that is in the next 2 hours, we'll be rewarding somebody with 3,000 shillings. Now, why is the all-in-one package a very good thing to talk about? Tell them.
Imagine you talk.
Yes.
You send messages, you get on the internet, bundles. You do this every day, right? And sometimes you can't really track how much you're spending. You have to buy more. You spend 50, 100, 250. But now, Safaricom is saying, buy one bundle at one time. For 2,000 bob, you get 1,000 minutes of talk time. Imagine 1,000 minutes. Kudos to you, who can talk for 1,000 minutes. But hey, you get 1,000 minutes of talk time. You get 2,000 SMSs. If you're those people who say, hi, send. How are you? Send. How is today? Send.
And there are people who are like that.
Yes, they are. By the time you've reached the end of the conversation, they've sent you 15 SMSs. Now, if you're one of those, you take advantage of these 2,000 SMSs. There's also 17. There's also 17 GB bundles, and this is internet bundles, or rather internet to GBs that you can use. And then there's also free WhatsApp. So imagine all the things that you do on your phone that you spend money for. With 2,000 bob, you can get a wealth of this, and you can have it at once. Ikisha, at the end of the month,
another one.
Do it again.
Yes. And you're sorted.
You don't have to worry, oh, my airtime is going to run out. Oh, I've gone to a place where maybe I can't get onto the Wi-Fi. You have it there with you wherever you go. All in one with Safaricom.
The importance of having this conversation now is because our conversation for the next hour is going to be about financial well-being, okay? Now, financial well-being is looking at those kind of costs that you have all the time. Or so you bought airtime last week. So you again, they take a katika, so you katikati when you are watching, so you are nice, interesting, you are watching a live stream of Chirchir in the Senate, and so you consolidate all that 2,000 bob sorted. Sindio Grace. Makes sense.
Absolutely.
Yes? Money is also not just about a chore, right? Money is everything we do. We do money every day. I'm here. I am expecting to be paid. Okay, I live here. I go and meet with the judges. I expect them to pay me, and I expect also there are people who are expecting me to pay them.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes.
It's going round like that. It's lifestyle. Now there's one app that is not just an app. It is a lifestyle because it sorts out everything about you in life, and this is called Loop. If you go to App Store or Play Store and look for Loop, download Loop, follow the instructions. It just takes you through steps. You can register quite easily, and you open an account with NCBA Bank, and then you have Loop, and you put money into it. What you then are able to do is, number one, you can pay all those people who needed to pay. You can keep checking whether money has been credited into your account, just like this. Amjatuma your pesa. You can pay your bills that you need to. If you're running a business, you can actually, using this, you can access an overdraft of up to 100,000 shillings. You can get a personal loan of up to 3 million shillings. And every day the app is telling you, by the way, your credit, the way you're looking like now, your threshold has gone up. Last week we were telling you that you could only get 10,000. Today you can get 20,000 if you borrow, you know? So it's an app that sorts you out in life, and that's why it's a lifestyle. It's called Loop. Yeah. You download it today, and you're sorted.
Okay.
Mambo iko namna hiyo. So mambo is good.
Kabisa.
Yeah. The person who's saying Kabisa is Grace Watiera. She is the head of programs and business development at ACOSCA. She will tell us all about ACOSCA, what it is, but more importantly, we're having a conversation with her about improving financial well-being through saccos, not saccos. Saccos.
Saccos?
Saccos. Sacco.
Wait.
1, 2, make a sacco. Sacco. Okay? Grace, karibu sana.
Thank you.
I'm going to give you the day's proverb, courtesy of City. He's taken a couple of days off to recharge his batteries. And the proverbs this week are from Libya. Listen to the proverb, give us your interpretation of it. The small donkey is the one that everybody rides. The small donkey is the one that everybody rides.
Well, in my perspective, I would say those who are less privileged in society or those who are less endowed somehow get to the wrong side of life all the time. So anyone and anything can speak to them whichever way they want. And so it's important for you to know your status in society and use it well. But if you find yourself in the lower base, people will throw words at you, people will take you as trash, really. That's my interpretation.
Don't be the small donkey. Try as much as possible. Don't be the small donkey.
Fill the room.
But if you find yourself to be the small donkey, don't be surprised when everybody wants to ride you. Woy.
Oi.
Okay. What is a COSCA?
So the acronym itself is the African Confederation for Cooperatives, Savings and Credit Associations, just to break it down. But what does a COSCA do? We are an African umbrella body representing saccos, savings and credit associations across the continent. So bringing it closer home, if you think about Kenya, we have the umbrella body called Cusco. That's the umbrella body for saccos in Kenya. That's our member. If you go to Malawi, we have Musco. If you go to Eswatini, and so on and so forth. Our membership base is 27 member countries, African countries. And really, our message is one: how do we support financial inclusion for all?
Okay. So many saccos come together. They form this umbrella, sacco of saccos. It's called Cusco. Okay. In Malawi, like you said, there's called Musco. Is the Uganda one called Usco?
Ukusco.
Ukosco.
Close,
Okay.
Latif.
Like that.
Yes.
So those then form a COSCA. And the whole idea here is looking at people coming together, pooling their resources so that then they are able to make their lives better.
Yes.
All right, let's look at the case of Kenya. How many saccos are registered in Kenya?
Arguably, I know of, and I just want to put a caveat on this. As Africans, we struggle a lot with data, credible data. And so you'll hear one kind of number from one institution, one kind of number from another. That actually is part of our agenda as a COSCA to try and consolidate credible data that we can all stand behind. But respectfully so, I believe there are 27,000 registered saccos in Kenya today, based on the statistics that I last saw. A good number. That's a huge number. If you look at a lot more of our developed counterparts across beyond the continent, you find that consolidation, amalgamation is the order of the day. And why they're striving to do that is for them to be able to serve their members better, encourage a spectrum of products, not just savings and credit, but a spectrum of products that position saccos to be their bank of choice, for lack of a better word.
Okay.
Yes.
So 27,000 registered saccos, roughly, in Kenya. Roughly how many members?
Again, arguably, as per 2022, they're talking about 14 million members in Kenya. The number could have shot up. As I said, we are in the process of, together as stakeholders, coming up with data that is credible, that can stand the test of time, not just in Kenya, in Africa, and at the global stage.
Roughly how much money are we talking about that's in the sacco space in Kenya?
In the saccos? So globally, we are talking about $3.6 trillion with members of close to now over 400 million. And Brazil is arguably the country that has the highest number of cooperative saccos in the continent. So if you look at that, the impact of saccos, the contribution of saccos in the global scene is definitely something that we want to appreciate, and it's something that we, as economic hubs, as countries, it's something that we appreciate.
While we may know the benefits of saccos to individuals and groups and such, maybe we can have you tell us, some of the things that people have been able to do by virtue of them having been part of saccos before we even get towards this financial literacy and wellness. So what have saccos allowed people to be able to achieve?
If I take you back when we started, what are saccos? By definition, these are a group of people who come together to aggregate resources. So, Latif, if I'm picking from your cue, there's an African proverb that says, one person can go fast, but if you're many, you go far. It's the same concept in saccos. When members come together and aggregate resources, what potentially I could not do alone, in a group I'm able to. I'm a recipient of sacco financing through my education, and I hear that a lot day in, day out. Many of Kenyans today were able to access education because either both their parents or one of their parents accessed affordable financing through saccos. Okay, so if you look at education in itself, it has enabled many families that ordinarily might not have been able to access affordable education and quality education, access that. If you look at economic empowerment within communities, we are looking at farmers, for instance. How can farmers not just produce for subsistence, but then look at a broader way of value creation and transporting these goods of theirs for economical gain? Saccos are a platform to do that. Okay, marketing their produce within and outside our borders. So we look at it as a vehicle that not only offers social impact, but also economic impact. And then, of course, when you come to as an individual, then we will talk a little bit more as we get into the financial wellness.
So what is financial wellness and what is financial literacy when we're looking at that? Having formed that base where, there's something that people are putting aside that you can come them later take advantage of. How does that then lead towards,
So I would like to simply say financial wellness is a holistic way of looking at financial well-being, financial health. If you say health, am I sick? So I would like to use the term somebody who's not financial sick, somebody who understands well the financial concepts of financial management, your close relationship with money. How do you engage with money for your better good? And not just you as an individual, but we are saying, how can this over time create financial stability, financial wealth as an individual, and also what we are calling now generational wealth. Okay, money that stays beyond your lifespan to help those that are coming behind you to start at a leverage point of view. When you look at financial literacy, that's the knowledge. I know the concepts. I know that I'm supposed to budget. I know that I'm supposed to save. But as they say, Latif, I don't know if you take alcohol, for example. They say, for instance, you don't know. They say that when you go to hospital, say too much alcohol is harmful to your health.
Yes.
I know, for instance, that if I take a bottle or two, that is fine. But does that stop me to take 3 or 4 once in a while? That's where we're equating financial literacy and financial wellness. How do you put the skills into behavior, lasting behaviors that you can stand by, which ultimately then create what we call financial wellness?
Okay.
Just like some of us. Personally, I'm very impatient on the road. So I know I'm not supposed to speed.
You have the knowledge.
I have the knowledge, but do I put it in practice? And do I have the discipline to put it in practice? Yes.
Okay.
A lot of the time, like what you've just said, it's all about, you were taught from very early on that, saving is a good thing. Kula tano, weka tano. Save for a rainy day. Save so that it can help you, as you're working towards midterm to long-term projects, all those things. What is it that hinders people from actualizing it? What are the main barriers to, let's say, saving? Yeah.
So one of the things is just beliefs and attitudes, for instance. What are your beliefs around money? What are your attitudes around money? And some of these things are acquired. It is how money was discussed in your home growing up. It is how your parents viewed money, for instance. Some people, money is a taboo. The more I have it, the more I have a problem, particularly if you're religiously inclined. That the more I have money, I am likely not to see heaven. Others, isn't it? So let me be poor so that
You're the milk of the earth.
Exactly, yes. That is an attitude, and this attitude can carry along even into your adulthood and how you reflect money. Yeah, others are money is to be spent. It is there and we just spend it.
Yeah.
Isn't it? And so you spend for the day, you don't know about tomorrow. And when you look at the key pillars of financial wellness, we're talking about saving, we're talking about good planning, we're talking about borrowing, and we're talking about spending. So if your attitude towards saving is that let me spend everything, then you're going against what we would recommend as proper tenets of building financial wellness. Okay. Another key issue I would address here is societal messaging. How does society message, to your point? Is there free money available? There's the attitude, a consumerism attitude, which, again, if we dissect the continent, within the continent, there are regions where we see a lot of consumerism. And it's okay. It's okay for you to walk into Woolworths, for instance, in South Africa and shop. It's part of your lifestyle. Once I'm done at 4 and I'm doing a day job, it's okay for me to walk in and pick 2 pairs of shoes and probably take coffee on my way home. That defines your habit. If the message is out there that there's money that is available and it's cheap, and by all means use it now and pay later, it also directs how we interact with money and how financially stable we are.
People don't like to talk about money, their money. People talk about, other people's money. You'll talk about money generally. But, sitting down with somebody and they tell you about their own money and how they spend their money, their attitudes towards money, how they think about all those things, planning, saving, budgeting, expenditures. People don't do that. Do you think that also contributes to a lot of what we see? Like you said, starting from home and then even getting out of home.
Absolutely. It's culture. And it's not easy to talk. It's not easy to talk about money.
Why? Everybody in an organization knows that they are in that organization, for example, and they get paid. Okay? But it's taboo to talk about how much you earn to your colleague. It's taboo to talk about what you do with your money to your colleagues. But it's not taboo to talk about when you need money and you need a harambe to your colleagues.
Yes. So it's taboo because money is status. Money is almost sacred in some communities. If I tell you what I earn, I'm exposing myself, okay? I am carrying around this status to show that, who doesn't want to be associated with, wealth? We all want to. And you carry a certain status. Unfortunately, with that status, then, you don't want to open it up. It's like going to the priest and, confessing your sins. Yeah, money is that sacred.
But now not to a priest, but to standing there at the pulpit in front of a whole church.
Everybody. Not just the priest alone.
Yes. And the fear of me sharing this with my colleague is that maybe that secret of mine will come out. And it's far, even at home, in a home setup where there's a couple. Not many couples want to talk about money. Why? Because behaviors they're fashioned way early. The way I was brought up, for instance, as a wife, and the way I interact with money, and the way my husband was brought up and interact with money might be different. And some of those divergences come in later in life. And you get to understand, maybe this is not the time for me to put money together. This person is taking me to a hole, for example. Okay? And money talks of stability. It talks of, think about when you don't have money, the stress that is involved with it. You're thinking about how you will eat, how you will cover your transport, how you will clothe, how you will take care of all these dependent people around you, including your mom, your aunties, and all those people you can't say no to. And so it puts you in a situation that you're very vulnerable. Yes? So what do? You either make your financial status good, or you act up. And part of acting up is where now people don't want to talk about their insecurities. They would rather borrow from their friends, from their colleagues to sustain a lifestyle, but not show that, well, I'm financially sick, I'm financially ill, and I need some sort of help.
How are saccos helping to fill these gaps? Because what we've talked about are gaps. And then getting towards financial literacy and wellness. I believe there's a role that they're playing. And what is that to make sure that, individuals are, and, groups are then well, as it were?
So as saccos, we are driven by certain principles, just like other financial institutions. But saccos generally are different because education is one of the key principles that drive us. We say principle number 5 is education and training. It's engraved in the way we operate with our finances. And so each and every member of a sacco has a right to financial education, has a right to financial well-being, talks and discussions that help them through the journey. In Africa, we actually introduced what we call a financial coaching program. I'm a certified financial coach myself, where coaching is very different from financial literacy, from financial education that we know. Coaching is changing behavior. How, similarly to a coach who trains an athlete, there are behaviors that an athlete needs to abide to. There are disciplines that make them behave in a certain way that then becomes their way of life. So coaching does that. And today we've opened this program not just in Kenya, but in the whole of Africa. A number of top executives have gone through the program. A number of directors have gone through the program. And it's a program we're opening up to all members to access. Why? Because one of the principles of education in cooperatives allows and gives the members the right to go through that. Besides that, of course, we have educational fairs that open to members at least thrice a year. Each and every one of these members go through this program to understand, how do I save and why? How do I borrow and why? What is good debt? What is bad debt? Okay? How do I plan for the future? You'll be surprised that if something like childbirth becomes an emergency. In our coaching class, childbirth is not an emergency. Okay? It's something that was foreseen. How do you plan for childbirth? How do you plan for retirement, which increasingly is becoming a topical issue today? Yes.
So coaching is what now you do. You try and change behavior. You'll tell us about that a little bit. You'll give us a bit of coaching. Let's take a break. Okay? We're talking about money. If you listen to Edward Quach this afternoon, you could win some money. 5,000 shillings. What does one need to do?
If you downloaded the Loop app, right?
Yes.
And then you need to show that you actually did so. Then what you're going to do is you're going to send a screenshot of that to our socials, Spice FM KE on different socials. And if you're one of those, Edward will pick you this evening. And you could win 5,000 bob just because you did it. Just because you downloaded the Loop app. Okay. 29 minutes to 9. Our guest this morning is Grace Watsiera. She's the head of programs and business development at ACOSCA, the African Confederation of Cooperatives, Savings and Cooperative Associations. Right? We are talking about financial well-being and how saccos are helping this happen.